Yo, what is up, my guy? We are back.
Yes, sir.
It's
Yes,
been a
sir.
little
It's been a
bit.
little bit of time off, but we are back here to talk about some more basketball, man. Super excited, man. How you been?
Not too bad, man. How about yourself?
Man, I've been good. I cannot complain too much. Came back from Puerto Rico, had a nice trip, a little bit of a suntan, as you can see, man. And so we good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. We got All Star Weekend here.
Yep.
Feels like it's something we weren't going to have, and it's different than normal, but something.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm excited to see it. I mean, I feel like in the time that we're in, it's gonna be a little bit different because you don't have as many fans in the stands and things like that. So it might make for a different atmosphere, but I think it's still good. It's still some good entertainment for everybody sitting in the house. We really can't go a lot of places. Let it be on. So I'm super excited. Of course, Team LeBron, since he's a Laker fan. I mean, since he's a Laker, Team LeBron all the way. Well, let's get into it, man. What are we gonna talk about
And
first?
KD, man.
You gonna talk about the All-Star predictions?
Yeah, let's talk about the game, man. Who do you got for the MVP? Who do you think's going to ball out?
For the MVP, I am going with probably I'm gonna say Ben Simmons. I think Ben Simmons might end up getting it.
I don't know. I don't see Ben doing it. I think it's going to be Donovan Mitchell.
Oh yeah,
After
okay, okay.
after that All Star draft with the shade that LeBron threw at Utah, and no one plays as Utah, which has no relevancy to picking the All Star game. But I
I
think that
just
was a
thought it was a
little bit.
funny comment. It was funny.
I think that was a little bit of a shot back from LeBron after Utah, put their foot in their throat and kind of beat them down a few weeks. Well, about what, week and a half ago?
Okay, I mean, I don't know. I feel I understand the comment because as a growing up and I play NBA Jams and all those other games, I'm not using Utah. Just is what it is. I never used them growing up. I'm like, I gotta use Karl Malone and John Stockton. That was never really my thing. But at the same time, I don't like you said. I don't think that whole relevancy to right now. Like if I was playing 2K right now, chances are I might pick you. If I got Utah as a team, I'm not mad at that option. They're a good
Uh,
team.
Not in the slightest, man. I can just see Donovan using this as a way to go off, and they're trying to make a point that they are here. They are for real, and they're not the team that went out in the first round last year. They're back. They're ready to go. So I can see Donovan, going off and maybe trying to break 80s, record for points in a game for the All Star. But
I'm
I
excited.
just
I'm excited.
so what do you think of the format where they're doing the? Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think it's 3 point before the game, slam dunk during halftime,
Yep.
and is it skills after or skills also before? I don't
I
remember.
think skills is before, but I'm not 100% sure. I actually like it like that. The only thing I don't like is that I think it kind of limits the amount of participants for the dunk contest because I think they only have like three on there, right? It's like three
Yeah, it's
contestants.
like three or four guys in there this year, and I
Yep.
mean, you really can't get the big names in dunk contest anymore. I would have loved to see Zion do it, but
Yeah, if I thought
I
he
mean,
was doing it. I'm surprised he didn't. I thought he was doing it.
I thought he was the first two, but I don't know if he backed out or if it was just a lot of wishful thinking. But Zion in the dunk contest would have been great to see. But since we're on that, let's start with it. Who do you got in this year's dunk contest?
I'm taking Obi Toppin only because I'm from New York, man. You might as well represent for the New York native on that team. So I'm going with Obi Toppin. And I don't even really know the other guys that's on there. I think Anthony was one of them. I kind of know who he is, but other than that, I really don't know anybody else. And I've seen what Obi can do. He can fly, man. So why not? Let's go with it. New York.
Obi's definitely an in-game dunker, and I love watching him at Dayton. Personally, I think he's going to disappoint. A lot of times, I mean, since Dwight Howard, well, technically Blake Griffin over the Kia, the big men just haven't really done much in the dunk contest lately. It's a lot of the small guys, and for that, I'm going with Cassius Stanley. He is a rookie down in the G League right now,
Okay.
but he was at Duke University last year, and he actually beat Zion's vertical record. So he has the highest vertical in Duke history.
Oh wow, that's pretty impressive. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't really know who that guy is like that. I'm excited to check him out. Is Obi Toppin? Is he considered a big man? What is he? Small forward, power forward? Is he really considered a big man?
He's power forward.
Oh, okay. Is that a big man now? Power forward,
Power
big man.
forward's big man. Power
Okay,
forward's
I
big
always
man.
thought it was center, but okay, we'll go with power forward being big man.
You can't just have one set for big men. I mean,
Of
it's like
course you
saying,
can. Boris
no,
Diaw plays power forward. You consider him a big man?
yeah, he's a big man. He's a power forward.
Okay. All right, we'll go with that, man. So
No,
then
but if you don't know, you'll know about Stanley after tomorrow night.
I'm
as of
excited.
recording this.
I can't wait to check it out. I'm gonna check out the whole All Star game. 'Cause sometimes it's too long, but I like how they condensed it and made it all in one. So I think that makes it easier for you to be able to catch everything as well. You know what I mean? Instead of having it broken up in those days like that. So
See, I hate it. I mean, I'm glad we got something. Like, if we would have gone a year without 3-point dunk and skills, because I love all three of those, I would have been more upset. But I mean, it's been so many years going out to the bar or, hanging out with friends and watching Saturday night, watching the skills competition, watching all this stuff, getting pretty much just getting hyped and enjoying it. Little side bets going on here and there with friends and family. Like, it's just, I prefer that more than the game, to be honest with
wow, really? Nah, I
you.
never skills challenge much. Skill challenge you can keep that, but all the other stuff is pretty cool. I feel
Oh
you.
man, skills. Honestly, I love them all three right now. Like, dunk contest doesn't really have the big names anymore like it used to 10, 15, 20 years ago. A lot of people throw shit on LeBron for starting that trend, but it's just one of those things that hasn't, the top guys haven't wanted to do it. But I mean, I can't really remember a bad dunk contest. And then you got 3-point contest, which is, you get the big names in there, and then the skills contest, you get a lot of good guys in there, and it's been cool to see the big men run it. So let's jump into the skills contest then. Who do you got for skills?
Man, for skills, I'm kind of torn on that one actually. I got like a Chris Paul, Luca kind of vibe. I feel like Chris Paul, he's fundamentally sound as a point guard, of course, in the league. But then all around, you got Luca as well. I feel like that's gonna be a tough one. If I had to choose one of the two, I'd probably go with Luca for youth, but then I would go with Chris Paul as far as like just the fundamentally sound aspect of it. So it's like either or. It's either or. What
Yeah,
about
I'm kind of torn with it as well. This is Chris Paul's fifth time in it.
you?
He's
Yep.
never won it. But holla Luca, man, you got to go with Luka Doncic like that. I think he's going to win it. I would love to see him and CP3 battle out in the finals, but it doesn't really work that way. But I guess keep an eye out for Sabonis because the big men have run the skills
True.
contest. I
Very true.
mean, what was it? Bam won it last year. Cat won it a few years back. Porzingis won it. The big men have actually run the skills contest, which I do find it funny with it being passing, sprinting, shooting threes like that. You would think the big man would be at a disadvantage, but they've run train on that one. So we'll see if that continues or if Luka or CP3 can, bring it back for the little guy.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I feel like if you were talking about 20 years ago, 15 years ago, it'd be a difference with the skills challenge as far as big men and smaller guys. But with the big man shooting 3-pointers and being able to run the floor and doing all that good old stuff, man, I see it just it's more balanced now. So I can see big men running it from now to the future. But I don't know, man. With Luca and Chris Paul in there, nah, I'm not going against those guys. They're too fundamentally sound for me. And then we got the next one. I think so then we have what the 3-point contest. Who you got for the 3-point contest?
Every part of my being wants me to go Zach LaVine. I
Okay.
mean, Chicago. Zach is my guy. Love him to death. Be the first player to ever win a slam dunk contest and a 3-point contest. But there's a guy, I'm not sure if you heard of him, by the name of Stephen Curry, who's going to be competing. And if there is a 3-point shooting contest, I will never go against Curry.
Listen, I cannot be mad at it, man. For my 3-point contest pick, man, I'm definitely going Steph the Chef Curry, man. He's always out there cooking every single time. And just as far as like 3-point percentage wise and most efficiency, you can't really go wrong with him. So making that pick is going to be, it's a good option. You can't go wrong with it. That's my pick as well. So we are on the same page there. I'm surprised we agree, actually.
Yeah, I kind of want to change to Devin Booker now, but we'll keep
Listen,
it
go
as it is.
ahead, man. It's recorded. It's gonna be coming out. So I mean, pick whoever
Nah,
you
nah,
feel
nah.
is
I ain't
yeah.
going against Curry. I ain't going against Curry, especially after he dropped what, like 100 and something threes in a row.
That boy's
Uh,
impressive, man.
that I mean, there's a lot of talent in there with that one. I mean, D Book's won it. Curry's won it. Levine I think he has the highest 3-point percentage this year so far. So he's stroking it, and what Mitchell's in there as well. So it's definitely gonna be the highlight of the night. That's for sure.
I think Mitchell's gonna be the most disappointing. I feel like he's gonna try so hard to prove himself that he's gonna be the one that mucks it up. But we'll see. You never know how
No,
it's gonna. But
I can see that. I can see Mitchell not making it to the second round.
yep, I think he's gonna be the one. I mean, don't get me wrong. I rock with Donovan, man. He's from Elmford, New York, which is a town right next to the town I'm from, which is Greenburgh. So you got to represent for New York, of course. I always do. I'm rocking with him, but I think he's gonna be the one that disappoints us in that 3-point contest this year.
I just don't see Mitchell as a 3 point shooter. He reminds me too much of Flash, and I mean,
He can shoot
yeah, he
better
has
than
a
him though,
better.
but
He up?
he can shoot better than him though. He has a better 3 point
No,
percentage, I think.
he definitely can. But I mean, when you're thinking about, I mean, I guess it's similar to Levine too. I mean, when you think about Levine going, he's attacking, but I just I'm not expecting too much from Mitchell. But again, you never really know with these. I mean, I didn't think Buddy Hield was going to win it last year, and
There you go. You never know. What about the All Star game, man? Who are you for? You Team KD or Team LeBron?
Team KD.
This guy. Go ahead, man. Let me know what's going on. Why team KD?
Because I want to see what the Spudder's going to do. I have Mitchell winning MVP for it,
Mm,
and I think he's going to go off. And yeah, it sucks KD's not playing in it, but I just think KD's team is going to beat it. And that being said, I know LeBron has won every year that they've done it,
really?
but I'm 99% sure that since they've done the draft, Team LeBron has won it every year. The one thing I haven't looked at that I really hope they do again is how they did it last year with the fourth
Yeah.
quarter, where they do, hit the point and then it's next to get to this one and
Yep.
then it's game over. That was cool because of how it ended with AD
Yep.
having to hit both free throws to win it. I would love to do that again. It made it really intense. It made it really hype, and I loved it. So hopefully they can
Yeah.
do that
I
again.
haven't heard an update on that portion, so I don't know if that's going to be a thing they're going to bring back or not. But I would like that as well. That is one of the things I thought about. I was definitely thinking like, hey, you have to have it to where it's similar to how they did it last year. It doesn't have to be the same amount of points as last year because it was a tribute. Of course, you don't have to do that, but it should be like, hey, we need to get to this number by halftime. You got to go half of that. The first team, that's when it's halftime. But I like that concept because it gives it a little more of a just a little more of an edge. So I'm super excited. I can't wait to see the game, man.
It's different, and it because it worked out in last year's game, and it made really push players to play defense. I I loved it, and I hope they do that again. I want to say I thought they were, but I could be wrong. So hopefully we'll see it. But yeah, the All Star game for me doesn't really do it as much as the other events.
Mm, interesting. Interesting. Interesting.
I mean, there's really no defense for most of the game. Most of the guys aren't trying really anything. It's just a lot of random threes and dunks, and they're not near as creative as a dunk contest, and it's not near as much pressure as a 3 point contest. So, I mean, obviously, I'm going to tune in and watch every minute of the All Star game, but I'm just not as I don't get as up for the All Star game as I do for the other competitions during All Star weekend.
I can't be mad at that, man. I mean, I enjoyed the game just being able to watch the guys come out and have fun and seeing some of your best players. Of course, that makes the game a little bit more interesting for me. In the past, it was a dunk contest that was my favorite, and then it was a 3 point contest, and then it was the All Star game, and it was a skills challenge. But we'll see. I usually go based off every single year. I don't go based off like overall because sometimes things change. It might be the most exciting 3 point contest we see this year. You just never know.
Yeah, it could be the skills contest. You really, like you said, you
Never
never know.
know. Yeah, yeah, for sure. I was thinking about another topic, man. I know we were talking before, man. As far as the most disappointing and impressive team so far to you, being that we're going into that All Star break, and you kind of see where teams are at right now. This is kind of the time where you see where teams are going to make it moving forward. Who's your favorite or most impressive team so far, and your most disappointing team so far?
Most impressive for me is Utah. I mean,
Okay.
that's kind of a bland answer. No one really saw them coming after when they had a good bubble, but no one really saw it coming from them. I mean, they took on the league with storm. They have a lot of fire behind them right now. It's them versus everyone, them versus the refs now after the Philly game. Like they're a hot team. They're fun to watch. They play great defense. They can stroke it from three. Like they're a complete team. They've been really impressive to me. I mean, I may not be playing with Utah on 2K, but I'm tuned in to watch them play in real life.
I'm not mad at that, man. I'm not mad at that. For me, I feel like for me it was a tie a little bit. So the Utah Jazz, for sure, I agree with that one. But also the Phoenix Suns. I mean, like Utah is the only team that have less than 10 losses on their record so far. And now they got what? I think they got three guys, if I'm not mistaken, in the All Star game with Mike Conley just joining in. I kind of was a snub away from DeMar DeRozan, I feel like, because what was he having like 20 points a game or 48% shooting. I think he kind of should have been in an All Star game, but because of the record, you know. And then also with the Phoenix Suns, they haven't made the playoffs since what, like 2010, I think. And then just Chris Paul having that presence gives them a real good spark they need. So I like both of those teams, man. They're both very impressive to me.
Yeah, I had Phoenix on something we're talking about a little later in the show, but
Yeah.
The Suns have definitely been impressive, and they've been fun to watch. It's a group coming together, and after they had that little early slide, they've been they came back with vengeance here, sitting at what is it, 24-11, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yep. Yeah. They look great. They look great, man. What about the most disappointing team?
For me, it's got to be the Hawks, and I mean they're not obviously the worst team in the league,
Mhm.
but they're a dumpster fire right now. I mean, you fire your head coach after 2 years, so they now have what, three head coaches under Trey Young. I know there's been a comparison between Trey and Luka because they were traded for each other. Both made the All Star game the same year, and I mean, early on in the season they started off hot. I mean, you had Kendrick Perkins going on every platform that would listen, telling you about how Trey Young is better than Steph Curry, how he's Steph Curry 2.0 because all the stuff he can do that Steph can't, which I call BS on that from the beginning, but they were flying high and they got a lot of young talent there, and then obviously bringing on Rajon Rondo and a few other vets. Just it never really worked out. They started falling in a weaker Eastern Conference, and I think they are sitting at, I think, 10th right now, 16-20, but they've just been a big disappointment for me, and I feel bad for the ATL.
Damn, man, I'm not gonna lie. Like, yeah, Atlanta was not really that great of a team this year. I'm surprised, like you said, with the addition of Rondo, playoff Rondo, of course. I'm surprised their team isn't doing a little bit better than they are doing. But I mean, you got a little bit of ways to go. You never know. Could they in the East Coast, you can make a resurgence and come back. You just never know. I know for myself, I had a tie as well for the most disappointing teams. Now, people are probably gonna disagree with me on this, and that's totally fine. It's totally fine. The first team I had was the Pelicans. Outside of Brandon Ingram and Zion Williams, the team looks pretty awful to me. I mean, they have a young core, and I feel like in a late game situation, they've blown some games they could have won. They're bottom five in like opponent's point score per game. I think that has something to do with Drew Holiday no longer being on the team as well, and that misunderstanding as far as miscommunication when they're switching and in certain late games and closing situations. But then I also had the Lakers in there as well. I mean, starting off, we did really well, but with AD going down, you find that the team's not really able to gel as much. Like you really don't know who the number two guy is. Could be Schroeder for some people. Some people want it to be Kuzma. You can't go wrong either way. But you got a lot of players like Caruso. I mean, he's looking great defensively, but he's averaging like what, like less than 6 points a game. You got KCP who just got a big contract, giving you 28 minutes a game. I mean, 28, yeah, 26 minutes a game, but he only averaging 8 points, which I'm kind of surprised. You got Gasol giving you like 20 minutes a game, averaging less than 4. I mean, we gotta have a lot of guys that step up because I think in the last 10 games we're like 3-7, and that just shows you the difference of just again not being able to gel. But on a positive note, I do want to give a shout out to my guy Shaq Diesel. Shaquille Rashawn O'Neal. It's his birthday today. It's March 6th, so shout out to that guy. But yeah, if people don't agree with me, I totally understand. But as far as disappointment, I'm just going off of right now at this point. Like we should be number one in the West, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100% disagree. Pels is most disappointed. Okay, sure. I mean, they've had Zion's looked great, Brandon has looked great. They don't have anyone else really scoring, and that third punch has cost them in a lot of games. I know they just lost a bad one to the Bulls where it was Zion was willing them to keep it in the game for so long, but it just they were missing threes, and I think I think they're a piece or two away from being able to be competitive. The Lakers won though. I mean, what, since AD has been out, you guys are right around 500. Every LeBron team goes through this at some point, and they call it the LeBron testing his players time, where they go through a stretch where they're not looking as great. People start questioning, is the team good enough? Is it this? Is it that? LeBron figures out who he can trust. He starts making the pecking order, especially with AD being out. This is a great way for LeBron to see who he has, who he can trust. Is Dennis Schroeder going to step up? Is it going to be Harold? Is it going to be Kuzma? And then they figure it all out. They flip a switch. AD is coming back. Can't really say being what they third
Yes.
right now in the West.
Yeah, that's to me that's disappointing, man. You should again. They were the contending champions, and they on paper they have one of the best teams in the NBA. I don't think we should be number three. I don't think in the last 10 games we should have lost 7 of them. And I think we got to make a move as far as just getting some like trading for another piece. I feel like with you got Blake Griffin out there now because he just got bought out. Maybe that might be a move we can make. I don't really know if it's gonna help us much, but yeah.
I wouldn't make a move if I was you guys. You have too much talent on the roster. Your second best player is coming out. I didn't know you guys were 3-7 in the last 10, but it's also the last time you lost you guys had no one playing. I mean, LeBron wasn't playing, and that alone with LeBron and no AD is you're going to lose some good about teams in the league if they're at full health. But I mean, what about players though? I mean, who's the most impressive player for you so far?
The most impressive player for me so far, I'm going with Joker, man. Jokic for sure. His numbers look very impressive, man. They got 27 points a game, 11 rebounds, eight almost 9 assists, and almost 2 steals a game. His numbers are like elite point guard numbers. If you're looking at him, it's almost like looking at like a Russell Westbrook right now. It's kind of crazy him being a big man and him having these kind of stats. I'm gonna go with him as my most impressive guy. I mean, it's probably only gonna go up from here. You know what I mean? Like they got to make a comeback to be. I feel like they should be trying to go for the top 3 or 4 teams in the West, and to do that, they gonna have to step it up a little bit. So I feel like his numbers are only gonna get better.
Yeah, I don't know if his numbers will get better, but he's definitely been impressive. Top 3, 4 in MVP candidacy so far this year. He's been an absolute monster. Slim Joker has definitely been a lot better than the heavier one going in the pre-bubble last year. But
Yeah.
for me, I gotta go with CP3. I mean, I know we saw it last year in Oklahoma City, what he was able to do with that squad, just getting them to the playoffs, getting them to push Houston. I mean, that alone was almost a miracle, but especially coming off of everyone saying he's done and, he's about ready to be out the league. They're about ready to put him with Melo and, just get these guys out. And he showed that his leadership is phenomenal. I mean, he has the Suns in the West. This is a team that, yes, was hot in the bubble, but did not make the playoffs last year. Now, I think they had a few other small veteran pieces they've added, but it's mostly been his leadership. And the biggest thing that we saw this year between the previous year's Suns is when they go on that slide, the Suns fall apart. And that's just how it's been. They started off hot and they go on a slide, don't ever recover. Chris Paul's leadership was able to get them to recover and actually get them back up. I think they fell to, the 6th seed at one point and then back up to the 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
That obviously it's a team effort to win the games, but I mean, yes, his numbers are 16, 5 and 9, 16, like 5 and 5, somewhere around that.
Gotcha.
And not greatest numbers, but it's that leadership he brings that everyone is in the right position at almost all times when he is on the court. It's that floor general, that stuff that you don't see in the stat sheet, you don't see in the highlights. That Chris Paul it's been extremely impressive to me. And I knew him going to Phoenix would be helpful. I knew he would help D-Book, but I didn't think it was going to be like this. And I have to credit a lot of that to CP3.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with you on that one, man. Chris Paul is he's an elite point guard, like I said, to say the least. He is definitely gonna make a difference in any team that he joins, any organization that he's a part of. He's gonna make him better. He's gonna make him more improved and a better chance of being a contender. So I'm definitely not mad at that option. I want to see what he continues to do throughout the season. I just hope he can stay healthy throughout the remainder of the year and going into the playoffs. As long as he can stay healthy, man, they got a very good chance to be able to just contend and be a great team. I know he's on that vegan diet now and eating a lot more healthier, trying to keep that weight down, and that's helping him stay a lot more healthier and everything. So, man, shout out to those guys. They're incredible, man, and that's not a bad choice as far as most impressive players. So,
yeah, if he can stay healthy, I mean that's what hurt him in Houston, and I think just around the league, people want to see CP3 actually make the conference finals finally, because that's been the one knock on his Hall of Fame career is he's never even made it to the conference finals, let alone NBA finals. So I hope he can. I don't know if it's going to be this year with the Suns, but I really hope it is. But to bounce back to your Denver Nuggets pick there, I got to go with my most disappointing player. That's on the same squad. I got to go with Murray.
Murray's numbers look pretty good though, man, but okay.
So his numbers are just under 22 points a game, about 4 rebounds, and about 4.6 assists. Not bad numbers. Those are good numbers, right? Going into this season, people are expecting him to make that jump. He was supposed to be all-star caliber. He was supposed to really assert himself in the league this year, especially after the bubble play last year, going into the playoffs. There's all this hype around him, all this hype around the Nuggets. You had MPJ in the back there, and like you said earlier, Joker's having an MVP season. He's been an extremely impressive player, and Murray hasn't made that next jump to where they need to be that dynamic duo to take on a LeBron and AD or a Kawhi and PG, or even CP3 and D Book. I just until he makes that next jump, I don't see the Nuggets really trying or really replicating what they did in the playoffs last year. And it could be a case of like playoff Rondo, where once the playoffs hit, he does take it to another gear. But I was just expecting so much more out of Murray this year, and really haven't seen it. And obviously, I know he took a lot of flack with the leadership calling out Porter Jr. for not cutting on that 4-on-1 break when they were down by 2. Mm-hmm. Everyone's standing on the 3-point line, but there was a lot of other guys still standing there that could have cut, and it just the whole situation. I don't know. To me, he just hasn't really been as impressive as I would have thought he would have been. So he's my most disappointing player so far this year.
I mean, the numbers are good. I mean, by his numbers, I'm not going to say that I'm. By his points per game, I'm not going to say I'm super disappointed, but I feel like he can attribute to a lot of other places. Excuse me. But when you have somebody like Jokic giving you 8.6 assists, man, he's probably holding the ball a little bit more. So it's kind of harder to be able to facilitate as much if you don't have the ball as much in your hands. So I kind of get that, but yeah, there's other ways he can improve and be able to contribute to the game as well. So I can kind of understand that. I mean, as a team, they I think all around they could be playing better. So I'm excited to see what they do for the second half and how they kind of make those adjustments to be able to come out. I think at the end of the day, they'll probably get top 4 in the West. I feel like just ending up as they start to gel. I feel like they can get there, but we'll see. You got a lot of season to go left.
Not top 4, no way.
We'll see. For my least, this has been a team that hasn't really played too good at all this year. So, I mean, what can you say? I'm going with Buddy Hield, man. He just came off he got a big contract, a really nice size contract, man. He's averaging 16 points a game on 39% from the field, almost 35 minutes a game on the court, man. He's not contributing nearly as much for his team to be a contender. With that tournament style for the playoffs right now, I think this will be the time where you try to claw your way to stay in at least like the 9th or 10th seed so you can fight for a chance to make the playoffs. But with the way he's playing right now, he's not even giving that team really a chance to do much. I mean, like De'Aaron's pretty much putting that team on his back, trying to do as much as he can. And yeah, Buddy Hield for me is not really showing up enough, man.
I can't really have him as most disappointing because this wasn't exactly what I expected, but I kind of saw it coming. I mean, there was turmoil between Hield and the Kings. Going into the season, there was talks about him winning out. Kings wanted to trade him. They're shopping him around. Harrison Barnes is still on there with that massive contract. Like it wasn't a team I expected too much from. I'd like to see Swiper, do his thing, keep balling out, but I didn't see the team around him to actually do much. So I'm not too surprised by them sitting at the bottom of the West again.
I mean, not even really surprised by where they're at in the West because the West Coast is such a contending team. I'm just kind of surprised at the fact that, again, he's got such a nice size contract, and you would think that you want to prove a point to show this is why I got the contract to be able to just stay contended and do what it is that, you got to do to keep your team above water. I'm just, like I said, being almost 36 minutes to be averaging 16 points on 39% from the field that's awful. To be honest, that's awful, man. So,
there are players that shoot better than that from 3. So,
yeah, pretty much, man.
So, what about your MVP then? Let's go to the cream of the crop.
I got a couple of different options here. So, for my MVP here, could we go on top 3? Correct, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So for my MVP, I actually for my 3, I got a shout out as well for a couple, but my top 3, I'm going Joel Embiid. He's giving you 30 points a game, almost 12 rebounds, 3 assists, almost 2 blocks a game, and 1 steal. I mean, those are pretty impressive numbers. It's the same thing I was saying before. And it's kind of the same thing we were talking about before, like how big men right now, if you watch them the skills challenge, they're winning. These numbers are skill challenge numbers, like 1 steal a game, still giving you 3 assists, almost 12 rebounds a game, 30 points. That's impressive numbers, man. So I'm not going in any order. These are just my top 3. I got LeBron as well, almost 26 points a game, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal a game. To be 36 years old, to be putting up these kind of numbers is really impressive. It shows that all the, the hard work as far as what he put his body through to be able to stay in the shape that he's in is indeed paying off, even without Anthony Davis on the floor. He's doing a pretty good job. Of course, he's going to have to worry about or have to consider load management moving forward, simply because he can't put all that stress on him at that age and continue to stay healthy through the playoffs. But right now, he's looking really good. And then, of course, man, my guy Joker, the one I mentioned earlier, man, 27 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists a game. Those are my 3 picks, and none of them are point guard, which is kind of surprising to me. You usually see a point guard, in my opinion, as the top 3 picks or MVP candidate, but it's not this year. But I do want to give a shout out, man. Dame Lil, almost 30 points a game, 4 rebounds and 8 assists with 1 steal, looking very well. He's right there for me. And your boy Luca, man, 28.6, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, 1 steal a game. Those are really impressive numbers as well. I think as the season goes on, they're going to continue to be some kind of like movements as far as who the top 3 are. But yeah, that's my pick, man. What about you?
Fortunately, we actually have the exact same list for the
Oh
exact same
wow.
reasons. My the one thing that I do have Embiid over LeBron. Embiid just had a great game against Utah. Like that was one of those MVP statement type games that he did everything with scoring, rebound, defensively. Just every second, Embiid was doing something that was helping them win,
Hmm.
and that's why he's one with me. Same with LeBron for the same reasons that you mentioned. What he's able to do at his age has been really never been done before. So, and then obviously Joker for the same reasons. But here's a question I want to pose to you because a lot of people are, and a lot of people in the comments may agree with this as well, or disagree with it.
Hmm.
Where are you at with James Harden,
Where am I at with James Harden as far as what? What do you mean?
MVP candidacy?
That's a good question, man. I think he's right there as well. I think he's on his way if he continues to keep balling out the way he's been balling out. Only because the first couple of games, his numbers weren't as impressive as they are right now. When he was on the Rockets, still, if he continues to ball out the way he is, man, I think he can. He has the chance to be MVP. But I think the one thing that's hurting him, which is really not his fault, but it's like this is what you expect from a James Harden on the team with a Kevin Durant and what's the young? I'm about to forget his name. I can't believe it. Uh, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving.
Irving.
Wow, I can't believe I forgot his name. But yeah, that's what you expect when you got somebody like James Harden on that kind of team. Those are the numbers you quote unquote expect, which is not fair to him. But that's kind of where I'm viewing him. I think he has a potential to definitely be MVP top 2, maybe even one candidate if he keeps playing. He's playing though.
So he's a lot of people are putting him up there in the conversation. Some even have him currently leading MVP because of what he's been able to do in Brooklyn.
Gotcha.
The West Coast stretch that they had won on, what was it, like 10 of the last 11 games.
Hmm.
Durant's been out a lot with
Yep.
COVID, then hamstring. Irving has come and gone, and just numbers he's been able to put up. But for me, I'm not taking out his games in Houston. He
Oh,
wanted out in
okay.
Houston. I think it was 12 games he played there. He obviously wanted out. Numbers,
Something like that. I think. Yep. I think it was 12 games.
his numbers are bad. They were lower than they've been in years. He quit on the team. Those games and those stats have to account for where are at so far. And for me, he just hasn't done as much as the other guys have. Now, granted, we still have a half of the season to play. He can keep balling out. The Nets could be in the first place in the East, beat out the 76ers. It's all hard because who knows when Durant's going to be back. Who knows if Kyrie Irving needs a break again. You just don't know.
Yeah.
So he could still do it, but I can't put him in my top 3 right now. And I still have him down probably lower than most because I wouldn't even have him. I probably have him outside of top 5 right now. Just he's been balling, but I'm holding that Houston against them because
Yeah.
those games mattered.
Yeah, we have the same sentiment. I feel like you said, he definitely. I don't want. Did he quit on the team? I don't think he really quit on them, only because he still showed up and was playing hard every single game. I feel like he really wasn't like he wasn't like just he wasn't out there like I don't care what y'all do and I'm not gonna play. I don't feel like he did that, but I did feel like he wasn't giving it quote unquote maybe 100%. Maybe he was giving it 80%, 75%, which is still you know at 75%, he plays better than most people play at 100%. So, what can you say? All right. Another thing I was thinking about as well. Another topic. I know we were talking about it earlier. What about your 2021 playoff predictions? We can start with the West Coast if you want to. What's your West Coast playoff predictions? 1 through 8. I mean, you don't have to really give an order, just your 8 picks that you see making the playoffs so far.
I in the Western Conference,
Hmm.
That one's going to be a little tougher for me because obviously you have the main ones with
Hmm.
it being both LA teams.
Hmm.
Utah is obviously going to be there. You
Hmm.
have pretty much the way it's set. The one it's going to come down to
Hmm.
is Golden State or Dallas.
Mm.
That I think will be the playoff game or the play-in game.
Hmm.
Which one has seven? Which one has eight? Which one has nine?
Hmm.
Not sure on that one, but I'm pretty sure that it's going to stay somewhat pat. I think Utah will end up with one. I think Lakers are going to end up moving up to two, Phoenix three, Clippers four, and then Portland five, and then Denver six, seven. Between Denver and San Antonio will be interchangeable, but I I think Curry's going to find a way to do it.
Mm.
I think he's going to end up finding a way to knock out the Mavs. Just because I don't know, I trust Porzingis' health, and without Porzingis, then I don't see them being able to do it. And I think even without Clay, I think Curry and the Warriors are a little bit better squad. Wiseman's back now; they're starting to gel. I can definitely see it being Golden State edging out Dallas. But what about you?
Very similar. So of course, like you said, you got the two LA teams. This is in no order because I'm not sure the order. I'm not even gonna try to pick the order only because the West is, and I feel like the playoffs in itself is gonna be so close with the bubble chemistry and everything like that. It's gonna be way different than you probably ever seen. So I don't really want to give a 1 through 8 as far as the specific numbers. Just the 8 I think are gonna make it. So of course you got the two LA teams. You have the Phoenix Suns. You have Utah. I think Dallas is gonna make it in there. I think the Warriors are going to make it in Portland and the Nuggets, but I do think the Spurs are going to be one of those teams that are going to try to play in, like you said, and it's probably going to be them and I think it's going to be them and the Warriors. I think the Mavs are going to try to squeak their way in. I know Porzingis was hurt at one point in time. Is he back now, or is he still injured?
Mm. No, he's back.
Oh, he's back now. Yeah, so I think the Mavs are going to make it in only because they got a little bit more with health on their side. But yeah, I think that's going to come down to the 8. And I think the Warriors are going to be the 8th seed.
Now, here comes the harder one.
East
I feel like
Coast.
the West is pretty much one team that isn't going to make it that could be. The East
Mm,
is so much more compact. It's so much more difficult to decide. So
yeah.
I'm dying to hear it. What do you think?
For me, like I said, this is in no order. This is just the picks that I think are going to go out of there. I had in the East, I got the Bucks. I got the Brooklyn Nets. Got the 76ers. I got the Boston Celtics. I got the New York Knicks I got the New York Knicks making it out only because of defense. Defense wins games, just is what it is. I think they're gonna be the ones that come out. I got Miami in the East as well. I think they're starting to come, they're emerging, they're getting a lot better. They won like I think eight of the last 10 games, I think, or something like that. So they're coming along very well. I got the Raptors making it only because they're just dogs. It just is what it is. I think that they're gonna kind of find a way to make it in there. And then for that last bubble, now this is the one I feel like they're gonna be maybe possibly the A seed, and that's the Hornets. I think they're going to be the team that's going to make it in out of the East. Of course, they're very young, but they do have like Gordon Hayward and people like that are going to be some of those veterans. They're going to be able to help them in those tight game situations to get them over that hump. Now, are they going to make it out after they get to the AFC? Because they're probably going to play either like Brooklyn or the Bucks or something like that. Maybe even Philly, if they do make it in the A seed. But I think that's going to be 1 through 8 again in no order, just the 8 except for Hornets, of course. So I just said it. I think they're going to be 8.
Wait, you have the Hornets making it, right?
I have the Hornets making it, just being
You
8th
have the
seed.
Hornets at eight. Okay.
Yep.
So that's the one thing we have different. Obviously, Philly, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Boston, those are all locked them in. I don't see Boston sliding or having another bad slide like they just did, going back under 500.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see it happening. So I'm locking them in. Miami, I'm also locking in. Jimmy Butler's back. Just having him changed around everything for them this year. So
Yep.
I'm locking them in. New York, I'm going to put in New York basketball. Wait, what did it say? It's back because they're not really contending, but they're not. They're not a joke. They're not a laughing stock. Everyone loves to see it. Basketball is just better when the Knicks are decent.
For sure.
Toronto, yeah, I think they're going to make it. The one difference we have is I'm going to go with Chicago getting the eighth seed. A little bit biased, a little
Of
bit,
course you are. Of course you are.
but we're getting Wendell's back. Laurie's coming back. We've been looking good. Levine's been balling out. Kobe White's been balling out. I do think we're going to be a little bit active on around the deadline. Maybe one or two moves here in pieces. So I I'm putting Chicago in. I think we're going to do it this year. Despite this being one of the top drafts of in the last 10, 15 years, but hey, I'd rather see us in the playoffs. So I think we're going to make a push, get the A seed, and then get bounced in the first round, probably in 5. But
Yeah, for sure. If y'all make it to the playoffs, you're definitely getting bounced out. But I mean, if you can make it there, that's good, man. We'll see. It's a lot of basketball to play. And like I said, with the tournament style, it makes it so that even if you're like the ninth seed or even the 10th seed, you got a chance to make it to the playoffs to get that in the in-game win spot. So I enjoyed it. I actually like that. That's one of the things that the newer things I like about the NBA and what they changed around is that tournament style. I love that. I think the fact that a team could be the 10th seed but can possibly play the 8th seed or whatever and get knocked out, that'd be awesome. Or ninth seed or however it goes, the ninth and the seventh or whatever. I think that's pretty awesome.
I think they're still doing it how they did it last year, where it was just it's just the ninth seed. So the
Okay.
ninth seed will play the A seed. The A seed has to win once. The ninth seed has to win twice.
Oh, is that how it works? Okay, that's cool. I like that though.
Yeah, I do as well. It gives a team like for Portland last year that was beat up all year that chance to they get healthy at the end of the year, make that strong push, get into there, and then I think we have the best best 8 teams in the playoffs. But
Mm,
I mean, it is cool, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it really matters. It just because of the 1 seed almost never loses to the A seed.
mm.
So I
I feel
don't.
you.
It's cool to see. It adds a little bit more drama to the end of who makes the playoffs, who doesn't. Obviously, players have a lot of financial desire to make the playoffs, but I,
Yeah.
I think we got a pretty good idea of who's really contenders this year so far.
Yeah, so far, I mean, the only thing that can kind of change it is who signs, as far as a couple of signs that could happen right now, as far as like signings, and then maybe some trades, and of course injuries. Injuries always play a factor, man. As long as teams can stay healthy, man, they can make it. But one wrong injury, man, of course that could change the trajectory of any team. So we just want people to stay healthy out there, and continue to ball out. But I'm excited to see the second half of the season.
Yeah, same. So I don't know about you, but the other night I was watching the Utah versus Philly game.
I saw it. Yep, I did see it.
I was watching Ben ball out. I was watching Embiid ball out. But the one
Yep,
thing that popped in my head was Ben Simmons is one heck of a defender.
that's a fact.
So it got me thinking, who are the top 10 guards in the NBA right now that are best defensively?
The top 10 guards. All right, so the top 10 guards, it would be in no order. But I would have to go with Paul George, Patrick Beverly, Drew Holiday, Chris Paul, Kyle Lowry, Marcus Smart, Danny Green because of his length and what he can do as far as guarding at the 3-point line. Of course, I'm gonna go with John Wall. John Wall never, as long as he can stay healthy, he's never disappointed me about being a pickpocket and somebody who can always steal. Of course, Ben Simmons, as you mentioned, and then also Eric Bledsoe. I think Eric Bledsoe definitely makes a difference on the floor when he's playing as well. So I mean, those would be my top 10 as far as my picks. Now, my number one as far as guards, I'm not sure. Probably be surprised by my pick, but it's probably gonna be like Drew Holiday or Paul George. As far as
Not
guard.
surprised by that for either one. Um, we actually have a pretty different list.
Okay.
And I did do mine in a particular order.
Okay.
So the number 10, I have Pat Bev. A
Okay.
couple years ago, he would have been a lot higher. His stuff doesn't come up really on the stat line, but he's a pest. He's in the league for a reason, and that is
Yep.
to get into defenders' faces. He disrupts the offense. He makes you play at a faster pace. And yeah, he's just a pest. He gets in your head and makes you play at pretty much your worst. We've seen him
Yep.
do it. I mean, he didn't shut down Kevin Durant, of course, but he was a nightmare for Kevin Durant a few years ago. Like, that's just what he does. Lonzo Ball comes into the league, gets in his face, and makes Lonzo look horrible. Like, that is, to me, he's a defensive monster. And he's not that big of a point guard, but he is that willpower, that pest that I'm going to mess with you. So I have him
Oh,
as 10. He's a dog. The true dog, though, on here is Kyle Lowry.
Okay. So we got
Kyle
similar
Lowry,
picks then.
the
Yep.
little pit bull. Give me 1 second here. Sorry about.
You good.
Gotta love the work from home life.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
But for number 9, I got to go with Kyle Lowry. I have never seen a guy draw more charges in my life. He will get in front of anyone. It doesn't matter if it's LeBron James coming down, if it's Giannis, if it's Embiid, whoever it may be. He is going to draw that charge. He is going to go after you. He's scrappy. He's a pit bull for a reason. And I have him at number 9. This one will probably surprise you a little bit. Number 8, I have Lonzo Ball.
Okay.
Lonzo Ball is an up-and-coming defender. I think right now he is currently one of the top defending guards in the league. He's long, he's lanky, he's smart, and he just knows how to be in the right position at all times.
Gotcha.
And you're seeing it on the floor. You saw it in LA, and you're seeing it in New Orleans with just how he's able to impact the game defensively along with his passing. And at one point this year, he had like a 116 defensive rating. He's just been great. Next guy I have is TJ McConnell for the Pacers, leading the league in steals. Another one, he doesn't let you play your game your way. He gets in your face, he speeds you up, and he has a defensive imprint all over the game, obviously leading at 2 steals a game. Mike Conley, there's a reason why the Jazz are doing what they're doing. This is the Mike Conley that we wanted to see with Mitchell last year. Obviously, the scoring's up, but defensively, he's helping anchor that down for the wing. He's allowing Mitchell to go off, do his scoring, do his thing, while he takes the better player. Then I have Marcus Smart. We've seen that impact. I mean, 1.8 steals a game. We saw when he went out from Boston how bad defensively they gotten. And you still have Jaylen Brown and Tatum, who are both good defenders, but just Smart's presence. I mean, that was another one who he was drafted high in, I forget what year that was, from Julius Randle draft, but he was drafted high because of his ability to defend. And that is what his calling card was. That is why he got paid. Yeah, he's had a couple games where he's hit a lot of threes and hasn't big scoring nights, but he's in for defense. He's paid because defensively. Next, I have Paul George. We all know one of the best two-way players of all time. Well, not all the time. One of the best two-way players in the league.
You can say of all time. It's cool.
No, not of all time. That was wrong topic. But heck of a two-way player, great defender. Back in those days in the Indiana Pacers, he's averaging over a steal a game. Guards are being pretty much shut down against the Clippers just because of having the ability to put on Pat Bev, him, and then Kawhi. So we have to put Paul George up there. Third I have is Jrue Holiday. For no other reason than he's one of those guys you wouldn't really think of as a much defender, but when a lot of NBA players have been asked who are the most, say, pain in the rear end guard is to go against or who you don't want on you, it's been Jrue Holiday.
He's big, man. You'd be surprised about how big he is because you see him on the floor. He doesn't look that big. He's a big-ass point guard.
He is big, but he also plays bigger. And he will go at anyone. He will take any challenge. And there's a reason why players don't want him on you. And there's a reason why a lot of people thought that him going to Milwaukee was good, not just for scoring, but that added defense and getting that other point guard in there. Number 2 for me, Jimmy Butler. Everyone knows he's another one of those great two-way players. He can go out there and score 3 points, not give a crap, and have a huge impact in the game because of his defensive capabilities.
For sure.
We saw it this year when he came back to the Heat. They started winning because of his defense, not because of his offense. Obviously, also because of his leadership. But I think Jimmy's the second best guard in the league. Number 1, where I started it, Ben Simmons. Just long, lanky, athletic.
Yeah, kind of unfair. He's tall as hell. Kind of unfair for me to be a point guard, but it is what it is. Kind of like Magic Johnson effect, but it's cool.
It is a little unfair, but he's so athletic and he knows how to get to where he needs to be. And I think Ben's one of the better defenders in the game in general, despite position. So he's my number 1, and yeah, I don't see that changing for quite a while.
I'm not mad at that, man. That's a really impressive pick. I'm not gonna lie, man. One of the people that you mentioned on the list that I was like, damn, I forgot all about them, and I should have picked him was Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler was one of the people I would have to move, and I'd probably move like a Danny Green or something for him. But yeah, for sure. I mean, as far as defensively, when I think of defensive guards, of course you have, like you said, McConnell, who's giving you 2 steals a game right now. And I mean, that's all great and dandy, but if I had to pick a defender as far as a point guard, am I picking McConnell over John Wall? Probably not. I mean, in this age, in this time, I don't know. You know what I mean? But that's not a bad list at all. That's a great list.
Yeah, if we were talking maybe 4 years ago, Maybe I put John Wall in there. I can't put John Wall in
Gotcha.
there right now. Just
Injuries
all
and stuff like that. Yeah.
it's I don't know. John Wall's always been more of an offensive threat to me anyway. But so we talked about earlier in the show the 3-point contest coming up,
Yep.
and we have some great 3-point shooters in this contest.
Facts.
So, who do you think the best 3-point shooters of all time are?
I mean, of course, people are going to say a lot of different opinions and have a lot of different things to say because, of course, it's going to be subjective. Um,
Let's do it this way. Because did you put yours in a particular order, or did you just do in general?
Nah, I just did in general. It's too. I mean, it's like I said, it's too. I mean, you put in like top 10s, it's too hard for me to put it in any kind of order. I mean, I can tell you
He
probably
took the coward way out. The
no, I
coward
didn't.
way
I'm not
out.
because at the end of the day, you still got the top 10. What difference does it make? But I can tell you who my top couple are out of my list. I just didn't put them in an order. I just mentioned shooters. So I would go I would say one of them is going to be Reggie Miller. I mean, never had a season where he shot under 40% from the 3-point line, and he wasn't like a huge quote unquote all around scorer. And I don't believe he ever averaged over like 26 points per game in a season or put up more than 6 3-pointer attempts in a game on average for a season. But his career finishes above the arc again is over 40% from beyond the arc. I mean, at a time when you weren't really chucking up 3-pointers like you are today in the game, of course. He never was a champion, never won a championship, but he had some great battles against the Knicks and the Bulls, so you got to respect the accolades. Another one, I'm gonna go with Larry Bird. I mean, he finished at 38% from the three. I wasn't raised in the era to see Larry Bird play personally, but I've seen the highlights like most people have. I was surprised when I was digging up some stats at how little 3-pointers that he attempted per game. And I'm funny because if you were to guess how many 3-pointers per game do you think Larry Bird averaged on average in his career?
Per game, don't know. I know he ended with about 650, so not many.
Yeah. So he averaged 1.9 attempts per game, which is kind of crazy because like you can see the transition as far as like a difference in era from then to now. Like I feel like everybody we mentioned in the MVP candidate is averaging more than 1.9 3-pointers per game. And probably the only player that's probably averaging less than that in the NBA right now is probably Ben Simmons.
Lonzo Ball.
Lonzo Ball, maybe, possibly.
Actually, probably not. Actually, he's definitely been letting them fly. But no, that's definitely some good points because the league has changed a lot in a very short amount of time.
That's a fact. And then another one I had, this is number 3. I had Kyle Korver. He probably isn't known for much more than his shooting and his eye color, but from behind the arc, it's pretty impressive. 43% from behind the field at 4.6 attempts per game. That's not too bad at all. Number 4, I had Ray Allen, Mr. Jesus Shuttlesworth himself. I don't want to put him in a box, right? Because he wasn't just a shooter. He could play defense. He's an all-around threat, but from beyond the 3, he was an assassin. Like most people would look at him in the time in Miami because that was probably the most relevant time or the close to current time. But he was a killer in Boston, Seattle, Milwaukee. He finished at 40% beyond the 3 at 6 points a game. Very impressive. Now, this is our number 5 pick as far as who I put on the list. But if I had to pick number 1 3-point shooter of all time, I'm probably going Steph to Chef Curry to me as far as the greatest. And this list is again, it's not in any order. Everyone on the list is for different reasons. Again, but his name is Chef for a reason. You know what I mean? Because he's cookout. He's a cooker out there, man. What more can I say about this guy, man? He's still an active player. And right now, from beyond the 3, he's shooting at 43% and averaging about 8 3-pointers a game. That's pretty impressive. Another guy I got is number 6, Steve Nash. He's an international star from Canada. Came to the NBA and showed players how to make a difference without scoring in abundance. But he was super unselfish, and he probably could have scored more, which is crazy to me. To make a top 10 3-pointers list for me and then not score as much as he probably could have is kind of crazy. He kind of finessed the Lakers at the end of his career, but that's another story for another day. He finished at 43% from beyond the arc with 3.2 attempts per game. But like I said, he could have probably shot more if he wanted to. Number 7 is Klay Thompson. He's in the top 3 for me of all-time shooters. I'm going to be honest with you, just from what I've seen him do in his career. It's pretty impressive. He does everything. Like, this guy's a championship, like a champion in himself. Like, and if he's on any other team, he'd probably be number 1 or 2 pick as well. Like, only because he's on the team with Steph Curry that you look at him maybe as the number 2 option. But so far from beyond the arc, he's finished at 42% with 7 attempts per game. And again, that just shows you the difference of the game in itself. Now, players aren't as physical as they were at one point in time. So it's like a little bit different, but I got to put him on that list. Number 8 for me, I'm putting Dirk Nowitzki on that list, man. To me, he has to be he had one of the hardest roads to get to a championship coming out of the West that year. I think it was 2010. Super stacked out of the West. And for me, he's a great 3-point shooter. Now he's finished at 38% from 3 with 3.4 attempts. But me actually seeing what he can do as being a shooter, I got to put him on that list. Now, this is my sleeper option, and you probably don't have this on your list, which is perfectly fine. You're a fake Bulls fan anyway, but I got Craig Hodges on the list, man. He's a sleeper pick for me. Now he finished with a little bit different. Like at the end of his career, he was a little more blackball. He was like the Colin Kaepernick before Colin Kaepernick. I'm not sure if you know of his story. But he wrote like a letter to the president. I think it was Bush Senior at the time when they went to go see the president after winning the championship. He wrote a letter about like the black struggle and the police brutality, and he wanted like players like Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan to sit during certain games because everything was going on. And then he became blackballed. He actually won a 3-point contest, and then the year after that, he would never even play it again, man. But he finished at 40% from beyond the arc. Of course, he finished at like two attempts per game on average, but again, to be able to win the shooting contest and be 40% from beyond the arc is not a bad look. So number 10 for me is JJ Redick. Last but not least, of course, this guy's a 3-point shooter and a defender. Like that's what he does. It's not many that's better than him. I watch his podcast from time to time. So as a person, I actually like this guy. And I've been able to see what he can do. He is 41% from beyond the arc and 5 attempts. This guy is still active. He's still playing, declining a little bit right now in his day and age, probably because his role isn't as much as probably was previously, but it looks really good, man. I wanted to actually give a shout out to some other great shooters as well, man. Mo Williams, Wally Zerbiak was a great shooter, of course. Robert Ory, Kevin Martin, Brandon Roy, and Katina Mobley. All those guys are incredible as well. And if it was another way to put all those guys on the list, I would. But, those are some of the shooters I picked as far as my top 10.
So what I'm hearing is you just want to shout out every shooter from 1973 to 2022 is what I'm hearing.
Nah, not at all. Who's on that list as 1922, man? Those are all 90s, 2000s guys, man. You know what I mean?
No, I got you. So I did put mine in actual order.
Okay.
I ranked mine from 10 to 1. Some honorable mentions that I wanted to put on, but I've gone back and forth a lot of this.
Gotcha.
Dirk was one of those that, for the same reasons you said. And also, my stats going to be a little different than yours because I put off Basketball Reference. So there were a little bit of some minute differences there that I heard through your list. But
okay,
Dirk, I mean, he became known as a big man inside game later in his career. But coming in, he was one of the original stretch fours.
Got you.
Yeah, and Dirk stroke it. Kevin Durant. I mean, he was the original MVP range that you can hit it from all over the court. I think when his career is done, may have to put him on this list because when KD shoots it, you just think it's going in. And the last one that I can't believe isn't on my list that I just didn't know who to take off, Dame Time. When you need a bucket, when you need a 3-point shot, I mean, we literally just watched him do it to the Warriors, 2 nights ago, and then pick up a charge. Damian Lillard is one of the greatest fourth quarter shooting guards or shooters of all time that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
When it goes to time, he just does not miss. But
Mr. Clutch, for sure.
In a few years, I'm going to have to probably rework this list. And obviously, the way the game is going, like you mentioned, 3-pointers are a lot more focused on. A lot more guys are coming in and being able to stroke it. And you have a lot of young guys in this league who one day could very possibly knock out a few of these guys on this list. But for number 10 for me, I have Glenn Rice, 40% from 3. Did just under about 1,600 threes made, one of the higher 3-point percentages of all time. Pretty close to him. Number 9, I have Peja. Everyone that plays 2K knows that Peja is a cheat code, man. 1,760 threes made. And he's actually credited in the series in 2010 with the Mavs versus the Lakers, who at the time Lakers were defending champs. Peja was actually a big reason why they were able to get through that with his scoring, still shooting 40% that year from 3 and just still being a big impact. Number 8, Steve Nash, similar reasons why you said too. He could have been a lot more or a lot higher of a scorer, but did focus on passing. 43% from 3, still made 1,685 threes. Next, I have another one you mentioned for those eyes, Kyle Korver, 43% from 3. I mean, all he's known is as a big shot guy. especially in the left corner, he does not miss. There's plenty of highlights. Go out and just look, man. That's Corver. Corver is one of those guys, and he'll always get out as one of the greatest 3-point shooters because that's how he played in the league.
Yeah.
Next, I have Larry Legend, and this one did kind of surprise me as well with you when looking up his actual numbers.
Yeah.
653s made in his career, 38% from three. But I mean, the stories with him, the 3-point contest where he walked into the locker room and said, "Who's all getting second?" When he didn't take his warm-up jacket off to win a 3-point contest. When he would sit there before the ball was inbounded, tell the defender where he was going to shoot from three, and then did it. When he got bored and played left-handed, shooting left-handed. The dude is a heck of a 3-point shooter, was a heck of a scorer, and if he would play in today's era, it'd be very interesting to see how he would shoot it. But
definitely, yeah.
Next, I have Steve Kerr.
Okay.
Big shot maker. He is the league's leader in the highest percentage from three at 45%.
Okay.
And I mean, he was one of the few people Jordan ever trusted to take a last game or a game-winning shot other than himself. So, I mean, Steve Kerr is definitely one of the greatest shooters of all time. Next, I have Klay Thompson. Very, very simple.
Yeah.
He hit the most threes in the game at 14. He has two of the top most threes per game record. Guy can drop 60 with taking 3 dribbles.
That shit is crazy.
Exaggerating a little bit, I think it was like 7 dribbles he had that game, but just catch and shoot. He can take you off the dribble, pop it up. But I mean, I don't think there's a more dangerous catch and shoot threat. They use his jump shot to teach in camps all over the country like that. He has one of the purest jump shots, and I think we'll probably go down. I think he's currently at 42% and just under 1,800 threes made.
Damn.
I think he will end up in the probably top 4 once his career is done, if he can get healthy and finally get back on the court. Next, I have at number 3, Ray Allen, 40% from 3, second all time. Or sorry, no, Allen is first of all time in makes at 29.73. I mean, he's the reason LeBron has one of his rings. That catch and shoot from the corner after the Bosch rebound to beat the Spurs. He was a huge part in Boston for their championship and their other finals run. Seattle, he was a massive component there, and he was one that Ray Allen wasn't just a 3-point specialist. He could take it off the dribble. He could dunk it on you. He was a person of all, or a scorer of all facets. So I have him at number 3. Number 2, Indiana Pacers, Reggie Miller. I mean, we all going to agree on that. Third all time now in 3 points made. This is where we differed a little bit. So according to Basketball Reference, he actually ended at 39.5% career 3-point shooter.
What'd I say?
Well, you said he didn't have a year under 40.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I could be wrong. Check the tape. I don't know.
Okay.
But let us know in the comments who's right, who's wrong. But according to Basketball Reference, 39.5% from 3, so he went around about 40%. Obviously, if you know basketball, you know shooting, you know Reggie Miller. You hear him calling games. I mean, Reggie Miller was like the original deep threat guy, one of them. And then last but not least, we all know it, it's Stephen Curry. He's the greatest shooter since God created man. I mean, he can shoot it from the bus. He can shoot it from his stadium in an away game. Doesn't matter. When he chucks it, you think it's going in. Every shot looks horrible. Every shot's a bad shot, but somehow, some way they go in. He is, I believe, 4th all time in percentage at 43, or 3rd or 4th, one of the two. He has the second most, he has the second most threes made in a game behind Clay, and he has like 3 of the top records. I think he's second, third, and fourth. Or no, sorry, I'm wrong. Levine had passed him. So Levine is second. Curry is 3rd, 4th, and 7th for a tie for most threes in a game. And he has, 2.664. So I mean, it's just he's the greatest shooter since God's made man. And when it's all said and done, I don't think he'll ever catch Steve Kerr's percentage record, but he's going to shatter the all-time record. He has most of the top records for most threes in a season. Just when the guy throws it, it goes in.
That's a fact. I wanted to clear something up here because I see what you're saying. So when I was saying the comment about Reggie Miller never having a season where he shot under 40%, I meant field goal percentage. I didn't mean three. Apologies. So I just wanted to clear that up there. I can see where that could have been a mistake. Yeah. So I meant field goal percentage overall for a season, not 3 point.
Gotcha. That makes sense then.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean that's. I think we're going to see a lot of great shooters to come. So this list, 5, 10 years from now, probably going to look a lot different.
Definitely.
Going, but it it's one of those things. We're in a league now where people get more excited for a three than a dunk,
I know
especially in
it's
or
crazy. It's crazy.
sorry Chase Center now.
Yeah. That is crazy, man. I mean, I'm super excited. Like I said, it's the All-Star break right now. The game is pretty much tomorrow, so I'm excited to see how that turns out. And again, we'll see how it goes, man. It's the midpoint of the season at this point, so we're kind of gonna see where teams are gonna go from now until the playoff times and where they're kind of gonna land. I am very excited for that. And yeah, man. I don't know if you got anything else you want to add on, but like I said, it's been an amazing season so far. A lot of great basketball under the conditions of COVID and everything like that. It's been some great basketball. So just want everybody
Yeah,
to stay healthy.
we've had a lot of great games and a lot more ones to come.
Yeah, man.
All Star Weekend, baby. Here we go.
All-Star weekend, man. Team LeBron.
Team KD. Let's go.
Let's get it, man. Until next time, I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Feel free to comment, leave us a like, and let us know what you think, man. We definitely appreciate you for joining with us and rocking with us for this long. Until next time, take care.